it would not shock me at all if Kawhi Leonard was not with this team next year. So I think the onus is on Paul George to show up and to shake off that Pandemic P nickname, which we know he did not like, but you got to perform. It's a results-driven industry, and he has yet to get to the pinnacle of the game in terms of winning a championship. And when we start talking about long-term legacies, like not only just for this year and the continuity of this group, but is that how you want to be remembered if you're Paul George? And I know plenty of athletes are pointing out, happiness beyond the court. But when we talk strictly your basketball legacy, yeah, he was great, but he never quite got there. Whew, that stings. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's very personal. And I'm going to say the names clearly. Obviously, we saw what happened with Russell Westbrook when people said, if you never get a championship, you know how athletes internalize that. And while you might be in a champion in life, when it comes to the court, this is where the pressure really lies, especially now that you're in your prime. And y'all, we're women here, and I love that we all agree. And I know that, at night when we're bored, all doing our adulting type of thing, we check Zillow, we check, real estate, because that's like the new adulting fun thing to do. And when I saw that Kawhi Leonard, I think bought a house in the Pacific Palisades, I was like, oh, I'm not worried about him no more. He probably wants to be out here. It's all good. And so the answer clearly is Paul George. Now, I really, really do not like that nickname. That is especially cruel, Pandemic P. That is the worst. But I think we have to put respect on Paul George because, if there's an athlete that's bounced back, especially what we've seen in the regular season, he started off on pace for a 50, 40, 90 season. He's still giving you 22 points per game. This is a top-tier athlete. Put some respect on his name. But the reality is, Kawhi Leonard, he's good. His legacy is certified. Winning a championship in San Antonio, doing the one and done with Toronto, and by the way, delivering a championship to Toronto, cultural icon forever. And then now, going back home to Los Angeles, he's good. While Paul George, he has had a probably even more difficult route. We all sort of, it broke our heart to see him get injured the way he did with USA Basketball. He's fought his way back, made a name with himself in Indiana, but now, he's tag teamed with a guy that we already say has his legacy cemented. They're literally built to defend LeBron James and Anthony Davis and any other team that sort of comes their way based on their pedigree defensively as a duo. And so when I look at this duo here in Los Angeles, the Clippers, Paul George is the one that has to prove a lot. Even though he's proven so much to this point, the only thing that can fix that is a championship, and that's why the pressure's on him.
But Janae, you said it, right? When we have this conversation, it will not be left out that he was on a squad that was uniquely built to go and stop the Lakers. Now, if the Clippers don't even end up seeing the Lakers in the playoffs, I think that's a whole nother conversation. But I think because and in a way, he may be a victim of his own success in that he was so successful and produced those many numbers and was a guy that was in demand that could be on a team that was specifically tasked with knocking off another team. But we're not going to forget that in terms of the legacy. The table was set for you to go and perform, and the missing link right now is you performing big time in that moment. But, I agree with you. That's certainly a tough nickname. It has stuck with me a little bit. He's having a much better season, but you know how it goes, Sinead. This is still the regular season. Don't give me Giannis from the past 2 years. We're trying to see what you're talking about come playoff time.
Can I play devil's advocate for a second? For a second?
Go ahead, girl.
So, all right. Is Kawhi not Batman? Is Paul George not Robin? I understand Kawhi's got the rings before and everything, but Tom Brady, he had tons of rings, didn't he? And there was still a ton of, I hate to bring it back to football, but that's what I do. Tom Brady, last year, all we talked about was, the pressure on Brady. He left New England, now he's in Tampa. Can he do it? The pressure on Brady and the Bucs. Is this season a failure? At the end of the day, if you're going to be a mercenary, and I do not mind that. People that know me know I don't mind somebody going to a better situation.
We know, sis. We know.
But when you go to that new situation, you have to flourish, don't you? You don't just go and say, I'm not really feeling this. We didn't really win here. I didn't really do my thing. I'm going to go bounce. No, you show out where you are. You go somewhere else. So that's the difference to me. So that's I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to just play a little devil's advocate for you.
Okay.
Before I get my answer, who got a home phone? That's so.
Okay, relax. Don't
I
you have
love
to bring that up on TV.
Why is the
She's in
youngest
demand.
person
She's in
here-
demand.
Why is the youngest person here with a landline? Who has a landline?
Listen, don't see,
Old soul.
y'all about to make me sweat. Y'all embarrassing me on my first trip.
Look, it's okay. I got you, sis. This is hilarious. I'll settle this. Even though the expectations are high on the Clippers, I know there was a lot of pressure when Paul George signed that contract extension because people are like, well, he hasn't proved himself in the playoffs. There's pressure on everybody right now, period. Because the way that the Brooklyn Nets are set up, offensively, the ease in which they play and substitute superstars is crazy. And to bring it full circle, my sis Kimberley, the difference between Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning a championship and the Brooklyn Nets and me just saying they're a lock is that Tom Brady, they all had the continuity through the highs and lows and the chemistry to get it done and build that right momentum, especially to hit the playoffs. That's the question mark for the Brooklyn Nets. That's the only thing that's really standing in their way. Will that lack of continuity with less than 20 games left, will that lack of continuity actually be the biggest stumbling block and for them figuring out how to play when the game slows down in the playoffs? Everybody else has to get in formation, including the Lakers, including the Clippers. The Clippers have talented pieces, but the way the NBA is set up, not even 1, 2, 3 superstars can really save a team. You have to have a complete roster of dogs, and that's exactly what the Brooklyn Nets have. Health and also continuity will be the biggest thing that determines the championship. So lay off a playoff P or whatever it is. Lay off of it, please.
Fair enough. And just really quick to Kimberly's point, Kawhi's still putting up the numbers. That would kind of be my answer, that he has performed and he has earned the cachet that if he decided to bounce, he could do that. But Janae, to your point though, too, everybody is under pressure. It'll be interesting to see if Brooklyn does fall short. Will we all then say, oh, we were right as analysts, they had chemistry issues? I personally don't buy the chemistry thing at all. I think when this big three came together, they have more accomplished individually. They already have championships between the three of them, and they've obviously got scoring titles than we've seen other big threes when they came together at points in their careers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.